15 seconds.
Straight.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
1. Here we go.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Whoa. Look at that.
Please don't blow up. Please don't blow up.
Scared.
Wow. The launch looks pretty good.
Wow.
That's the word we want to hear. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Goes so far up and then it breaks away.
Yeah, I'm making a video of this. Please don't say my name. Please don't say my name.
No.
Okay.
When they hit the stratosphere, it comes in 2 parts.
This is in preparation for max Q, which is maximum.
And how long will that? Oh, see my
A
name.
couple seconds.
Is that call out for throttle down?
Power and telemetry continue to be nominal for the vehicle, now traveling at 262 meters per second.
That's fast.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
As I call out, the Falcon 9 is supersonic, and we will be passing through max Q here shortly, the largest structural load during descent.
Max Q.
There's that call out. That Falcon has passed through max Q.
And we've just entered Stage 1 Bravo abort mode. That's going to take them through the end of the first stage burning just before second stage activates off the coast of North Carolina. T plus 1 minute and 40 seconds into flight. Dragon and Falcon 9 traveling 709 meters per second. That call that MVAC chill is underway. The Merlin vacuum
This is what the engine looks like? Whoa.
That's the camera on the ship. Showing the flames.
With the call out of MVAC chilling, similar to what we saw in the first stage Merlin engines, the second stage engine being prepared for its ignition coming up in just over 30 seconds from now. We're a half a minute away from 3 quick events in rapid succession. We're going to get main engine cut off. The 9 Merlin engines will throttle down and then shut down. We're going to get stage separation.
Stage 1 throttle down.
And then ignition of the second stage engine. We've begun the throttle down in preparation for stage separation.
Come on, where is it?
Here we go.
Stage separation confirmed.
There it goes. Separate it.
And you see that stage
Wow.
separation has confirmed.
Now they're going to go right into space.
MVAC engine. Stage 2. Crew 1 is
Look how
now
hot
on
that
their
gets.
way to the International
Wow.
Space Station.
Whew.
It looks like it's gonna
Alright,
melt.
so you're
Those are
starting to see
rudders
stage 2
that move it, that guide it through
Over
space.
on the left-hand side is
Looks like it's
stage
gonna
1
melt.
preparing for its return
But once
to
it
Earth.
reaches space, it's not gonna melt because it's
It's so
Currently
cold.
On the left side,
Yeah.
you can't make out much. It's a couple hours after sunset in Florida. But the grid fins have deployed on the first stage. The first stage is now unpowered, but with the velocity it had, it continues to coast up to an apogee before it begins to descend.
Tom, can you give us a sense of what we are looking at now and what happens next?
If you shut up, he'd tell you.
Well, this has gone as it always seems to go with SpaceX. It's gone perfectly, and so they've now separated stage 1 from stage 2. The next, as you see,
Stage 2 to
is
stage
now
1.
propelling this rocket on into orbit, and then eventually they will cut off stage 2, and then they'll be on their way to the space station. But stage 1, you heard him say it's going to fall back to Earth. This is one of the things that makes SpaceX special, because the rocket, the solid rocket booster, is in fact going to be picked up by a ship out in the ocean.
And they can use that
and then
again.
it will be brought back and used on the next mission. So
can
that's
use it
one
again.
of the things that makes SpaceX model of doing business much more efficient, that they can reuse their pieces. One other point I
So
want
it's
to
gonna
make
fall
is
off.
this rocket
No,
was
it blows
just
off. It comes
going
off
up the East
automatically.
Coast of the United States. They had to have multiple zones. You might call
They have
them
to get away
abort
from the
zones
gravity.
and rescue zones all the way
Once
up
you're
the
away
East
from the
Coast
gravity,
and
it falls
extending
back
all
to
the way over
Earth,
to
and they keep on
Ireland.
going with that
In the
little
event that
jet
there was
right
an
there.
emergency, they would abort into
Now
the
that's
ocean,
gonna-
they'd be
that's
picked up
gonna
by
shut
helicopter
down, and they're gonna
sea-based
coast
assets.
in space
Thankfully, at the moment,
to the space
everything looks
station.
like it's going perfectly.
Leroy, I asked you earlier how those astronauts were feeling as they waited to be launched. You said that they were feeling calm. For those of us who have never done
Jesus,
space
you know what? I
travel,
hate when they
that is
talk like
hard
that.
to imagine.
I know.
What are they feeling now that they are on their way?
Gotta be heard. Not
They
about
continue
you and
to,
what you want to
look
know.
at the vehicle, look at the parameters, everything I'm sure is in the green, everything looks like it's going great. They're still, kind of keyed up, but they're perfectly calm. And
She don't know nothing he's
confidence in the
talking
system.
about.
The first stage looks like it performed
No.
perfectly. Second stage also looks like it's performing
These telecasters want
nominally.
their own
And
voice.
so they're just minutes away. They're accelerating now up to their orbital speed of about 17,500 miles an hour. So they're going to start feeling some of the
17,500
G-forces,
miles
but
an
it's
hour.
not uncomfortable.
What?
This is all to be expected. And
Can't
so
even
they're
imagine,
just,
ain't it?
hoping that
We
Can't
do-
even imagine.
We do 60 miles an hour going to the cabin.
Tom, it is hard not to
And they're
watch
going
this
like
and just
1,000 plus
experience
miles per hour.
of awe,
7,000.
have an emotional
17,000.
reaction.
17,500.
How incredible it is.
Oh,
Talk to me a little bit
unbelievable.
about the cultural significance of this
17,500
happening
miles an
in this
hour.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, let me just tell you what it's like to experience it here on the ground. Because for 15 years, I've had the advantage, really the greatest job at NBC News, of covering all of these missions, SpaceX missions and Boeing missions, and of course the shuttle mission. And every
One man
time
paid for this.
the earth shakes, and everybody around you, they feel it in their bones, and the car alarms go off. And it just is an incredible thing to experience in person. I would also note, you may have seen that cutaway from SpaceX Mission Control, how few people were in SpaceX Mission Control. Yeah, that's the problem. COVID has really thinned out the ranks for SpaceX and for NASA. And so these folks are
How
working
long
from
will this
home.
be?
Don't worry, there were plenty of people manning
Couple
their
more
computers,
minutes.
but they were doing so at home, and then they were backed up, of course, by the folks in SpaceX Mission Control. And you
There's 3
asked, just as
stages.
we went into
They're
this,
on
what
the
about
second
Elon
stage
Musk,
now.
the CEO of
Yeah,
SpaceX? As you know, he also owns Tesla. And yes, he tested positive for COVID. And so under NASA protocols, he was ordered to stay away from the Kennedy Space Center and was not
His
allowed
own
anywhere
invention.
near the crew or anywhere near the people on the ground here at the Kennedy Space Center. By the way, the crew has been under quarantine for 2 weeks now to ensure that they did not have any COVID exposure. But now I would just wrap up my long-winded answer about what does this mean to the country. You know, I talked to the astronauts, each one of them, a couple of weeks ago. And I asked them that, and they all said, you know, we have been through a terrible year between the political strife and the pandemic and the economy. And this mission hopefully is something the country unites around and gets behind, because the entire country wants to see them succeed. And right now, you just had second stage separation, which means now
See?
the spaceship, they've dubbed it Resilience, the spaceship is on its way and now tethered free, we should say, from these rockets. It's on its way to the space station.
Well, it's up in space now.
Mm-hmm. They're in space now.
That's right. We've got about 30 seconds
Continue
more.
internal guidance.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Now just about 20 seconds more of stage 2 continuing to burn until we see second stage engine cutoff, or SECO. We'll coast for a few minutes afterward to allow the rates in motion to...
That's neat how they got the cameras on the ship.
There's that call for Shannon. That's Shannon, Ireland. An abort zone,
10
but
seconds.
it looks like we continue
10,
smoothly
9,
to orbit today.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Impact shutdown.
Well, there it's starting.
And we've got shutdown of the second stage engine on time.
Last time Grandpa watched this, that whole room was filled with people.
SpaceX,
Yeah.
nominal orbit insertion. Launch escape system is disarmed. And SpaceX copies.
And Leah, the words we like to hear in nominal orbit insertion.
They're in space.
That's right, John. Nominal orbit insertion, as we mentioned, stage
They're
2.
safe gate.
Oh, looks like some action on stage 1.
Yep.
Oh, there she be.
You see the camera glitching out.
Now they're going to coast.
Oh, That was
And I believe
that was
we
the
had a
smoke.
touchdown on
right?
the drone
Yeah, they
ship.
shut off the
We've got
engines.
Stage 1 has touched down on the drone ship
Yeah.
in the Atlantic Ocean. But now, the more important news, second stage is in orbit, right where we want, right on time, and we're getting ready for our next major activity, which will be Dragon spacecraft separation. Now, currently on the second stage, we are essentially venting pressure, purging the engine out, making sure everything is quiet in preparation.
Leroy, talk to us
They're on the
about what
PlayStation
we just
already?
watched,
No.
the significance of it, and how unusual it is.
The
Well, it looks like everything has
The
gone
first stage
smoothly
landed
so far.
in the
We had a
ocean.
nominal second stage
Not-
cutoff.
not a second
They're
stage,
coasting right now,
they're-
getting ready to
the-
separate the
with the
spacecraft
computers,
from the second
Well,
stage.
he's talking
We
now
saw
what
the
they're
first
gonna do.
stage come back and land on the drone ship to be refurbished and reused again.
Right.
And that really is revolutionary. I mean, this is what all the so-called experts said could never be done. You could never recover first stages economically, refurbish them or reuse them. SpaceX has done that a number of times for launching satellites, and they're going to get approval to also fly crew this way at some point. And that's one way that they've dramatically dropped the cost of launch. So the astronauts on board are again continuing to monitor their systems, are getting ready for the next major event, which is spacecraft separation, and then they'll begin their autonomous flight to go chase down and dock to the International Space Station. So they're confident, they're excited, they're happy to be in orbit, and but they're keeping their eye on the ball. They're not relaxing yet.
Tom, most of us knew the questions sort of surrounding this launch. What are the questions? What is NASA going to be watching in the coming days?
Once in like lifetime.
I think it's all about just proving that, in fact, NASA can trust a private sector partner in SpaceX to take American astronauts, and in this case also a Japanese astronaut, and safely transfer them to the International Space Station, and then, oh, by the way, bring them back to Earth come next May. So this is really kind of cementing, if you will,
I
and
can imagine being
verifying
up in
that
space
this
for 6
relationship
months.
works
Yeah,
between
I'm making
the
a video
government and
of
the
it,
private
so-
sector.
yeah,
And so the goal
making a
here is
video
NASA
of
can
it.
now move on to its
Video.
long-range goals, its long-term goals, that being a return to the moon and also to Mars. By the way, my language wasn't very precise, right? When I talked about the first
Not
stage
yet.
coming down, and I said it would be picked up
There's
by
the
a ship.
second stage.
I should have mentioned it landed on a ship, which is yet another SpaceX trademark.
They're gonna reuse that
They are
part
just
too.
so
They're gonna
good
clean it
at
up
this
and use
phenomenal
it again.
maneuver that nobody
They
you
never
would've
did
said
that
10,
before.
15 years ago
Everything would
that
burn
this
up.
is going to be the way space travel works. Few people would have believed
Now
it.
they know how to
But
make the
Elon Musk
material
and
so it
his
don't burn
company
up.
have proven that they have just been on the cutting edge of space technology now for years.
You know what this
After you
means?
said that, I could
What?
hear my producer
We
saying
got
in my ear, "It is
our
pretty
eye
cool.
on
It
every
is
country
indeed
in the
incredible to
world
watch."
from
I
up in
want to
space.
thank you both, Tom Costello, Leroy Chow. Thank you so much for being with us through this. We'll be right back.
That's history. And you've seen it.